Hi Asa, thank you so much for your purchase. This is your personal reading. Before we get started, just a few quick guidelines on how to interpret the tarot in case you've never gotten a personal reading before. Use your intuition above all else. Although my intuition, my abilities may deliver you helpful advice or guidance, I would suggest you to use your discernment at all times. These messages may pertain to you specifically. They may pertain to someone you're involved with specifically, or they could be energies of a situation surrounding you. So if it doesn't resonate with you personally, then feel free to switch up or reverse the roles if necessary, okay? And as far as time is not linear. Some things may happen before other things happen. Some things may manifest before other things manifest. And of course, you always have free will and free choice. And so, as much information as I can give you today, things still stand to change, as everything always is changing. So, use your discernment, your discretion, and give this time. Maybe come back to this reading after a couple weeks have passed to see if it resonates with you more, maybe after some time has passed. Typically, what resonates with you now may make much more sense with you later. So don't be afraid to revisit this. As long as you have the link in the email that I provide you, this reading is private to you and I. And you can watch it as many times as you like. So I'm getting this questioning energy. When it comes to your first question, I think that this is your guides coming through, wanting to help clarify here that the spiritual bond that you and your ex-Q still share is still very much active. Although you have removed his possessions from the house, and although you are at a distance from him, you guys still have unfinished business for some reason. And so this is making you question, what else do I need to learn? What else is there that I need to do before I can be clear of our karma? There is questioning because I believe you still love him. And love, you may be disgusted by him and still love him at the same time. Both can be true. And one of the things that your guides are coming through with is this information on denial. Be sure you're not denying yourself that you did once really care for him, that you still do care for him, or that you still love him. Denial is going to almost block you from actually progressing in this relationship, whether it's toward them or away from them. Okay, we almost have to have like a non-attachment to the outcome. We have to just accept how we feel. Right now, that's very, very specific for you. Accepting really how you feel about this person. You might actually find underlyingly that despite the, lack of moral character, or their lack of reciprocity, or their lack of judgment, that you do still love them. I feel that very strongly. And maybe that's why they continue to come up. Let's see if we can get an energy here. Asa's guides, higher self, angels, and ancestors, please show me the card guiding Asa right now in this relationship with her ex-Q. Oh, the Arrow Master, okay. Hitting the mark, intention, and detachment. So what was it that I was saying about being unattached to the outcome, okay? One of the things that I think we have to admit is that there are always going to be things that we can't predict or we can't foresee. And, most likely your life will be completely different than what it is today, a few years from now. So it's important to not become so attached to things that are outside of your control. The arrow master is essentially reminding you to be very in the moment, to breathe before you take the next step forward. Also, your vision could be heightened. Your intuition could be very heightened and very precise right now. The way you feel about someone is going to tell you a lot about them. And in so feeling, not in so doing, but in so feeling these ways, it will really help you know which direction to go next. So you're getting mental clarity over this. We have the rainbow prince on the bottom of the deck, which represents compensation and perseverance. So this person, I believe Q, is very much spiritually reaching out to you, whether they're aware of it or not. They are very connected to you at this time. They're probably thinking about you just as much. Ironically, I think what they're wanting to do is give to you. They're potentially sending you positive energy. They're potentially trying to see if there is a way to get you back. Okay? They feel as though this is a fight that they are justifying, that they are feeling divinely guided to do. Okay? If you feel clearly that you have a spiritual bond, I would say so. You guys seem to be mirroring each other quite a bit. With where you're currently at, okay, in your energies. Now, I know you are probably just wanting to run away, detach, get away from this person, but for some reason you still have a hold of that arrow. And I think you might have to just be honest with yourself that there could be something that you're not seeing clearly. And once you do see this clearly, you may be able to release it. You may be able to let go and move forward and close this chapter. But there's something you're holding on to, and you may not be aware of this, I'd like to say. It's almost as if this person, your ex-Q, wishes to make things right. Maybe they're going through a deep reflectivity as well. Show me the relationship here between Asa and Q. So we have the Chariot and the Two of Wands. Interesting because both are suggesting movement forward, right? Two of Wands comes down to making a choice and following through with action, right? But making this choice based off what really inspires you. Where is it that you really want to go? There may be two doors open for you right now, either one to the future or one to the past. You could be entertaining revisiting this relationship on some level because you still find a lot of passion for them. You still find a lot of divinity in this relationship. Though you're really not willing to go back. That's the thing, is you're not willing to go back. And I would like to just reiterate that because I think either way, you might have to convince yourself and this person that you have changed, that you're not the same person you once were, that you actually have already grown immensely, that you have already changed quite a bit. And the divine is essentially protecting you. It's helping you move forward with a very balanced perspective. This, I think, is you essentially coming out of denial, that you don't care for this person at all, that you just wish for them to go away and never come around again and to be done with them. I think you're coming out of denial and you're seeing your options really clearly, that there is no reason for you to go any one way specifically. If you are to revisit this relationship, it's going to promote a lot of healing. It's going to promote a lot of clarity where you may not have had that clarity before. But if you decide to move on as well, it's going to be very, very self-validating. You're going to be moving forward very confidently once you make this decision, but there is a sense of denial potentially until you make this decision. So Knight of Swords and the Devil. So this person, you know, they definitely were very controlling, very dramatic. They may be love bombing you. Like, I really feel that they're love bombing you. This is definitely a trauma bond or something of a toxicity that's involved in the spirituality, okay, between the two of you. I see you being much more evolved than they are spiritually. You could be dealing with a Cancer. Okay, Gemini is your ex. Yeah, what I would say about this is that Gemini and energy is really showing here with this compensation and perseverance with the two twins here under the Devil. It's almost as if they have multiple personalities. And at one time they can come to you very highly evolved, very spiritual, very loving, and wanting healing, wanting to compensate, wanting to give and move forward. And then the next moment they're filled with toxicity and triggers and unhealed wounds and codependency. And so they're showing you all these varying colors of the rainbow, essentially, this rainbow prince. It's not that any part of them is really wrong. It's just the power that they channel is imbalanced. They are not channeling their energy appropriately, and it's turning toxic in the process. Maybe they're being too hasty. Maybe they're not wanting to be very patient in this healing process. But they are gaining new perspective, and you kind of have to trust that the spiritual connection you guys share, it's very intense, it's very deep, it's very confusing sometimes. And I believe that this person really wants to escape from their own toxicity, and they kind of look at you like you're able to help them do that. You're able to help them escape their toxicity and move forward from it, but at the end of the day, you can't do that for them. And so it's not for any lack of love for this person. I think you understand them and you see their fullness and their potential, which brings you back to this place where you really want to forgive them. You really want to give them the benefit of the doubt, and you do love them. But you find every time you give them the benefit of the doubt, every time you open those channels for them, they come in with this very dark, deep, toxic reflection of what it is you thought you were getting. They're like a Sour Patch Kid. First sour, then sweet, or in their case, first sweet, then sour. So I understand that you want to move forward, you want to release this, and you know it's for your best. And I would agree that's very much what I see as well. Letting them go, continuing to move forward, moving along your way in your path. But there is something regarding this denial. It's almost as if the denial is preventing you from fully closing the door. With this acceptance, with this new perspective that the both of you are essentially, these reflections of each other, then I think whatever it is that you pick up on them and what they're doing, their double ego, their two-facedness, the mask they wear in front of you until their true self shows later down the road, it really all is there to help you. And it really has helped you. And if you can't completely forgive this person, then I would just begin by accepting their role in your life and loving that. You don't have to love this person or be in love with them, but you can love what version of you they've helped you become. And I think you have to accept that you have changed a great deal and that they don't pose as much of a threat upon you in your life as they actually once did. Because although the devil is a fierce competitor of the light, it is essentially an illusion. The illusion that it actually has any control over us. Right? It doesn't have control like it thinks it does. It's not really against us, even in a truer form. Everything that it does actually helps us. It benefits our own evolution. It benefits us learning from these experiences. And so in order to heal and completely close the door in the past, you have to essentially recognize this person as having helped you an immense amount along your journey. You have to stop blocking them, but essentially accepting them, embracing them with not a love that is imbalanced or toxic or codependent, but very mature, very wise, very independent. That's essentially what I think is going on in your energy. The Temperance card, the Hanged Man in reverse, and Strength are how you're coming up. Very, very balanced. Both of these cards, the Temperance card and the Strength card, represent having divine strength, protection, and balance. You are no longer fighting this. You're no longer running from it. You're no longer escaping from this person because you no longer feel the threat from them. That's the door that is closing. You're gaining perspective over the habits that you have of either needing to run, feeling afraid, feeling bombarded, or paranoid that their energy is somehow going to have more influence over you than your own discretion, your own discernment, and your own divinity will have. They don't actually have that power over you. And this realization in itself, this perspective shift, is the harmony that you have been missing. But by seeing the polarity in this relationship, the duality, the toxicity that they've had to show you, the dark side of what this person is able to embody, they've chosen this. They may have really sought the dark side. They may have really gone into it and indulged in this dark side that's really an illusion. It's fantasy. It's not real. They may tell lies. Whatever the case may be. They're very intense, very quick to jump to conclusions, very quick to experience extremes. And I think with them doing this, it's really challenged you. It's really pushed you to dig deeper, to become better, to become faster, to, be more precise, to really look at your spirituality, to really find the meaning. And without them, without this catalyst of a person, would you have become as strong as you are now? Would you have been as determined as you've become? Also knowing that their karma will be delivered with a sort of equality to what they've given you. That it's not your position to deliver the karma to this person, make them suffer, or even make them see. That essentially this compensation will land in this person's life, energetically and karmically, whether they like it or not. And that this is by no means a personal objective of yours, but it is in divine order that this will happen. And there's sort of that acceptance energy coming back up, kind of like in knowing that the divine has got your back, in knowing that this justice will be served, in knowing that they, again, will see how maybe they've participated in these extremes and how unhealthy it has become for not only themselves but people that they have loved, they're going to realize what a jackass they have been. They're going to realize what a fool they've made of themselves. They're going to realize how the illusion of progress, the illusion of getting even, the illusion of winning was just that they essentially didn't get anywhere with this kind of energy. And they may see you as very high vibe, having done the work, having really progressed, having really evolved, and there could be quite a bit of jealousy there. But knowing that there's a bit of jealousy might just help you continue to evolve, because that in itself is a bit of validation that you have come out the successor, that you have come out a totally different version of yourself, which is for the better because of what this person has put you through, and not the other way around. You will be compensated for what this person has put you through, essentially. And they, in turn, will be compensated, if you'd like to call it that. Their karma will be delivered, okay, because of what they've put you through. And there is an acceptance that you're coming into. There is a psychic, sort of spiritual confidence that will allow you to move forward with whatever understanding this is. Because that in itself, it's very simple, that it is a simple understanding, okay? Detaching essentially from this person is inevitable. Closing this chapter for good essentially is inevitable, because spiritually, psychically, you've listened to the higher guidance. You've done the work. You rose to the challenge. You've hit the mark. And you've made your intention clear to the universe. And the universe is completing the task. They're helping you psychically mature enough to know that no connection or no energy that a person sends you is ever out of your control. And it never is a vibration higher or more powerful than you. And that's just the simple truth. And maybe in the past you were perceiving this person as very powerful. Maybe they gave you this strong illusion that they could conquer and take and manipulate and undermine your success or your progression. But look how that in itself was such a lie. It really is a lie. Getting down to the grassroots of what this situation is, it just feels more and more silly and less powerful. And that's a realization that you're coming to. That the divine has always had your back. That the divine always will carry you through any kind of situation. And so long as your intention is clear, you really don't have anything to worry about. You are well taken care of. You're moving away. All of this energy is looking this way, away from the devil energy here. And so I think that you can have faith and trust that you're moving in the right direction, that this arrow master has literally become a master, that you are not moving back, because an arrow cannot actually move back. An arrow can only go forward. That's the only way it works. So if there's any fear that this person has more control, more psychic energy, more influence than you, no freaking way. You know, they're just showing you all different kinds of colors in the rainbow. That's what they're doing. They're enriching your life. They have enriched your life. They have. And you can love them for that. You cannot be in denial of how much care and love you've had for them. And you can accept the role that they've played and that they've taught you the bulk of what it is you've needed to know from this relationship, that it actually is already done. And that you have that say, you have that choice to make, and it's a simple one because you're more powerful than they are. You are. And you're not going to get sucked into toxicity because, again, you are not the same version of the self you once were when you were with them. What is the energy between her and her sister Patty? The Lady of the Gift, generosity, receiving, and withholding. So in your relationship with your sister Patty, it seems as though the give and take is just always imbalanced. Okay? This is obviously a very divine relationship to me. She is essentially not your enemy by any means. But the dynamic that you have has maybe been ongoing, not just for this lifetime, but there's a relationship, a karmic agreement, a gift entailed with the lessons that you two teach each other, whether it be just in this lifetime or many others. Okay? It seems as though you are always the one to take care of her or help her. She might be your younger sister. She might not know any better. You might feel as though she is very naive at times, kind of getting herself into trouble, asking you for help. She may, in fact, feel inferior to you, as if you were much more wise than her, much more collected, much more clear-minded than she. Nonetheless, there is some exchange happening between the two of you all the time. And either it's a high vibe energy coming from you, unconditional love, generosity, whether, you are on the receiving end of her love or her disgust, or whether, one of you is withholding. It seems that there's always this dynamic happening of who's giving, who's receiving, who's giving, who's receiving. How much I gave, how much I do for you, how little you give back. Either one of you is always seeming to say one of these things. On the bottom of the deck, we have Eyes of Beauty, positive expectations and clarity. So this is actually a very strong card to have. With the Eyes of Beauty, you're really going to be seeing your sister in a different light. She may actually be very beautiful, but at times can act in ugly ways. You are no longer going to be seeing her at face value, but you're going to be seeing her with love. Okay? I do believe that this energy of wisdom is going to be coming from you. I get the feeling that she's a younger sister. I'm not sure why. She could be younger than you, or just less experienced. I feel like she may not have the confidence you have, or when it comes to your intellect, she may not be as smart or experienced that way. So she has an inferiority complex with you, and I think when you're looking at her in the future, you're actually looking at her through eyes of compassion, kind of like she's fallen at times in her life, kind of like she may feel as though she's a victim on some level. And whether or not that's actually true, you're just finding compassion. You're just finding compassion because you see that's really the only way to transform whatever negativity you have between the two of you that really hinders this equal give and take. You're taking the high road. You're taking a high road here with her. And I know that that's not easy. It's sometimes very difficult, and it sometimes can feel very compromising. So I'll try to help you as much as I can. Figure out where exactly to draw the line, how to establish the firmer boundaries with her. We're going to have to see what exactly she's doing, why she's doing it. So what does her sister Patty think of her? Let's get down to these roots here. What does her sister Patty think of her? Where does this behavior come from? Where does this behavior come from within her sister Patty? Please bring forth the highest advice and information to serve this healing, to serve this connection. Okay. 9 of Wands and 3 of Cups. So I do believe that there may be a little bit of the jealousy factor. When she sees you as a very social, very kind person, very generous, very giving. But I do believe that in the past, you guys have had some really gnarly fights. You know, there could have been an energy that I'm picking up on where the both of you got physical, like physical altercations. You know, if the two of you went out to drink, she may be very nasty or spiteful toward you when you guys are in social settings. I do believe that this is potentially stemming from an element of jealousy, or like I said in the beginning, this inferiority complex. She compares herself to you probably way too much. And she fears that if she gives you the love that she really feels for you, that you might just get stronger and take advantage of her or leave her or abandon her. She feels weak. You know, this 9 of Wands is the wounded warrior. So something may have happened in a social setting where growing up you got all the looks, you got all the attention, you got all the praise, and she just felt kind of like, you know, the ugly duckling. Or, yeah, it's the ugly duckling syndrome. That's totally what I'm feeling. This inferiority complex. It can be very deep. It can be kind of like a middle child, you know, like the middle child. You could have 3 sisters in the family and like 1 brother, or, you know, there could be multiple siblings. But for some reason, this sister Patty, she feels like a middle child, like no one listens. Like no one really cares about what she's doing, because it's always about the oldest sibling. It's always about the youngest sibling. She feels overlooked. Or not appreciated. You know, there's all these energies coming up that really could stem from just a simple feeling of inferiority or unworthiness, you know, from childhood potentially. But I do see that some of it could stem from social settings, like you get all the attention, you know. Bottom line, that's kind of what I feel this person thinks and feels. And they feel on some level that they may have to compete with you for this attention. And you did mention in your question, oh yeah, you did provide me her energy, okay, her date of birth. So she's not, oh, she is a younger sister. Oh, okay, so yeah, that totally clarifies what I've been saying. She's either the youngest or the middle, and she always feels left out. She always feels like she has to compete. I don't feel it's narcissism. I really don't. I feel like this woman, this person, this female, your sister, your sibling, she wants to love you. She wants equal give and take. She wants to rebuild with you. But she kind of feels the same, like when she's giving, you're withholding. When you're withholding, she's giving. And the timing is just never right. And they're tired of trying. They're tired of trying to compete, trying to fix things, or, you know, that can be vice versa too, or both. So we have the Wheel of Fortune, but times are changing. Things are coming, okay? Positive expectations and clarity. You said that she is a Libra, okay? Essentially, I'm feeling an expansion here. Either one of you is receiving the bigger picture. There could be an energy of, you know, times are changing. Let's let go of the past. Whatever physical altercation, whatever fight, whatever competition, whatever words were said in the past, those were said in anger. And at the bottom of it all, I love you, and it's okay what's happened. And I really want you to know that I'm willing to change if you are. I'm willing to heal if you are. This Wheel of Fortune can bring great change. It's very prosperous energy. It's very expansive energy. It's very supportive energy. Although, in the midst of the Wheel of Fortune energy, the outcome can seem a little fuzzy. It could kind of feel like you're taking a leap of faith. Like you're putting in the work, at least initially, in order to leave this past behind. We have a 9 and then a 10. This is positive movement forward, but someone has to take the first step. Yeah, I do believe that this is misdirected anger. Oh, great. This is beautiful. So listen, we have the Wheel of Fortune and Judgment. Beautiful. So there's something about this relationship that truly has matured. It's reached a new level. I don't think either of you are actually really upset about what's happened in the past anymore. And not only that, but just having a really honest conversation can help some of the things that maybe were misdirected or misunderstanding between the two of you get clarified. If there was a jealousy or competitive nature, maybe she felt like you got all the attention and she was always left behind. Like, I'm almost getting this energy like, I'm getting this feeling like when you two were kids, you may have had, your older friends over and she may have always like tagged along with you. And, when it was make-believe time, you and your friends would say, okay, we're going to go out into the wilderness and we're going to do this. But you have to stay here in jail because you're the person that needs to stay here in jail for our plan to work, for our playing house or for our playing town to work. Excuse me, hold on just a sec. So sorry about that. But you know what I'm saying? It was almost like when you guys were playing make-believe, she was always the one to get kind of like duped. Like, oh, I get put in jail again? I'm always the one getting put in jail. Like, I don't know why I'm getting this feeling like she just feels like she was always left out. And if you feel that this was misdirected anger, I would say that that's more or less exactly what it is, because this is coming from childhood stuff. This is coming from an upbringing energy. This is coming from, an inferiority complex, essentially, that maybe she was made to believe was true. Maybe she felt growing up like no one paid attention to her, that she was never listened to. But there's a strong sense that she may not actually be aware of these things. Like, they are deeply rooted in her, that she might not even be aware that's how she really feels. Okay? I really don't feel that there's a begrudging energy that's just like holding on and not letting go. I kind of feel like the both of you are confused as to why this doesn't seem to ever work out. Like the timing is just off, or like you two can never see the same page. And it's because it's deeper. It's deeper. It's not actually that you guys fight about what it is you think you fight about. It's deeper. And so this Wheel of Fortune and Judgment on the bottom of the deck is clarified by the Devil in reverse. You guys are not going to have toxicity anymore. You're just not. Okay? You absolutely can make the choice with having these positive expectations and seeing your sister in a totally different light. You may be able to heal the relationship just by a simple perspective change. But it really seems like the divine is saying, I think you intuitively know that it's time. It's time to have an honest conversation. It's time to not deal with your sister in such a harsh or rash way. It's maybe time to share the limelight, to really compliment her, to congratulate her, because you know, and you are much wiser, right? As we said before, you are much wiser, a little bit more evolved potentially, and you can just see this relationship at such a deeper with such a deeper understanding that you're not going to be repeating the same cycles, even if there is a temptation to do so. You see the bigger picture. The Judgment card is a very strong, divinely guided card, as if to say, this is a thumbs up from the universe. You're doing a good job. You're doing a really good job. Even if there are setbacks, even if things don't go as quickly as you expect them to, I would say in the years to come, your relationship may be totally different just because of these small steps that essentially you are making. You're going to fix this. You're going to heal this relationship because of the generosity you're bringing toward it, because of the receptivity you have toward her. There's much less of a judgment toward Patty and much more of a ripened judgment as to the contract, the lessons that you two came here to learn, and that no matter the rift that has transpired, maybe over time, it can be mended. It can be mended. And it will be. There's healing taking place. There's change afoot. There's a lot of prosperity. And maybe even so, this person may come to you and say, I've had some setbacks. Can you lend me some money? And you're most likely going to say yes, because I love you, because I want to help you, because I know what you're going through. It's almost as if you're extending this understanding to them. It's almost as if because you're helping them, it's almost surprising them. It's giving them a lot of clarity of what it is you really feel for them. That no matter what's happened in the past, you can still show love to them. You can still extend your hand. You can still help them when in their time of need. And in that, they're going to be getting clarity. In that action, in these significant steps that are being made by you, their jealousy somehow subsides because they see that it's not so much a chauvinistic or egotistical sort of spotlight on you. It's an energy of light, of love, of giving. And it's energizing. And it is transformative. And I love that. I love it. So let's see your novel, the energy that's assisting you there. What energy is assisting her in writing her novel? Please show me what energy is assisting her in writing her novel. Whoa! Interesting. The Ice Queen. Interesting. Ideas preserved, non-action, entitlement. So the Ice Queen actually poses as a bit of a challenging card because it asks you to maybe become more emotionally invested in this idea. We're going to get a little bit deeper, but the entitlement is pretty interesting because I feel an energy that you may want or desire to go about this in a very independent or sovereign way to protect your ideas, to protect your written word, to have full right, and have literally entitlement, right, to your intellectual property. However, this card lacks trust. And so we'll see what the advice is. You may have gotten the idea of your book through a dream, or this may have come to you through an intuition, some spiritual guidance or divine insight. The answer may come to you in a dream. Okay, we have the Ace of Pentacles, Six of Cups, and King of Swords. This is essentially, it's very interesting. So we have the Ice Queen, who is essentially a Libra, a Queen of Swords energy. And then we have the King of Swords. So this is asking you, essentially, with the non-action card, to take action, to make a decision. Maybe you've been stalling, delaying on this, maybe because you haven't received the full clarity of how to make this approach. Because either way you look at it, it's an investment. The Ace of Pentacles, this may be asking you to invest, to take the time to pay what is necessary in order to establish a very firm foundation in your work. You've worked very hard at this, you've spent the late hours, and now that it's time to take a very significant step, approach, or to sign a contract, you're getting a little nervous. You're stalling. You're stopping yourself because of worry, because of fear. Essentially, what will help you is trusting that your intellectual property is going to be safe, that this investment, though it may be more expensive than the alternative, is what you need to get off on the right foot. This Six of Cups is talking about you asking for help. So when you're looking at the Six of Cups, you're wanting to be humble, okay, about maybe entering into a new opportunity a little bit naively. And if it's not for naivety, it's definitely just an inexperience. A little bit of a childlike demeanor. Like, hey, this is my first time. I don't really know what to do. What do you suggest? You could be getting advice from a mentor, or you could be talking to a publishing company, someone who is in charge, someone who is very direct, talking about a contract, talking about an agreement, all of the details, right? It's going to be discussed. You're going to have to talk about this in a very logical way. However, it's not to rob you of the emotion or the passion that you had. I think, in fact, once you have this conversation, it will motivate you. It will make you feel unstuck. But you've got to have that conversation. You've got to set up the appointment on that day, at that time, to discuss what ideas, what kind of publishing, what is involved in this publishing contract, right? What I do see is that the acceptance and the trust in this person is going to give you a lot. This is going to be a good opportunity. Though you may be tempted to look at the statistics, you might be concerned about losing some of the percentage or portion of your intellectual property, of the gains, of how much you can make, from this investment if you partner with a publishing company. However, I do see that being your best bet. And I just have to be honest. I see you benefiting from partnering with someone who knows how to do this, who has experience in this, who sees a vision, who has a foundation beneath them. They're very direct. They're very honest. I think if you question the person's integrity of who you speak with, you'll feel much more comforted, trusting your intuition. Because although there are gray areas, you don't know necessarily how this is going to go, to make a decision now will really benefit you, even if you still have some questions. You're going to figure it out along the way. And I do believe that this person who you speak with is actually being genuine. They will help you. They will help you. They think you have a great idea. They think you have a great product. And it's not that they're trying to steal anything from you, okay? Your ideas will be preserved. Your investments will be preserved. Although you might have to relinquish some control here with the Ice Queen of the entitlement you have to your property. You might have to partner with someone, because not partnering with them, not making a decision, is essentially stopping your progress altogether. And I do see the Ice Queen and the King of Swords. This person is probably going to be a male. He's probably going to have his own company, or at least be a boss or part owner in this company. He knows what he's doing, and he's going to let you know that it's going to be the best idea. And you're going to have to trust him. You're going to have to trust him. And that's going to be the hardest part. because you're not going to have full control when you sign this contract. You're not going to have as much rights or intellectual right to this property, but it's not actually going to be as detrimental as maybe you're fearing it will be. You've got to be a little warm to this person. You've got to be accepting of this person's advice. Okay? So that's a challenge, but I do see that it's going to work out for you. If I were to give you one straight answer, I would say that I see you going with a publishing company or through a publisher. Okay? It's going to require a little bit of an investment, right? You're going to have to take this person's criticism. If this person says, look, I need you to alter these words on this page because I think that this would make much more sense, you're going to have to trust them. They know what they're doing. And I'm sorry to say, there are some things that they're going to critique you on. They don't think that your book is perfect. They don't think that your novel is ready to go. Okay, but learning this process is going to be really valuable to you. They have really good insights, and once you're through with this process, you'll know even better what to do next time. And maybe next time you'll be able to publish your own novel. But for now, I see the advice is to ask for help and be willing to receive this criticism over your ideas. Okay? Thank you so much. I really hope the best for you. I'm sending you so much love and positivity in this crazy world. Wherever you are, I hope you're safe, secure. Know that you are divinely protected. The divine has your back the whole way, and that you will be successful. Okay? Thank you so much. Take care. Bye-bye.